All right, let's dive in. Today, we are climbing this incredible ladder of innovation to trace the wild journey of blockchain. It started as this super obscure, almost academic idea, and now it's a technology that is actively reshaping our entire digital world. The question is, how on earth did that happen?
And yeah, that's really the central question, isn't it? The story of blockchain. It's not just about code and computers, it's really about solving one of the internet's oldest nagging problems. How do you create trust between total strangers online? So let's trace the steps.
To really get why blockchain is such a big deal, we have to start with the problem it was built to solve. And that problem is trust. I mean, how do you prove you own something or send something of value online without some big, powerful middleman verifying every single thing? Just think about your daily life for a second. We trust banks with our money, right? We trust governments with our identities. And these centralized systems, for the most part, they work. But they are also massive single points of failure. They can be hacked, they can be controlled, and honestly, they can just decide to exclude people. For a small group of early internet pioneers, this just wasn't going to cut it.
So the first piece of the puzzle was cryptography. This is basically the magic that makes sure that once information is recorded, it's locked down tight and can't be secretly changed. You can think of it like sealing every single transaction inside its own unique mathematical vault.
And the second key piece is the distributed ledger. So instead of one company holding the one official record, the idea was actually brilliantly simple. What if everyone involved had their own copy? This transparency. Well, that's what builds the trust. Because if thousands of computers all hold the exact same record, no single person can just sneak in and change an entry without everyone else noticing immediately.
For years, these were just really powerful ideas kind of floating around in academic circles. But then, in 2008, an anonymous creator, we only know them as Satoshi Nakamoto, combined these ideas to create Bitcoin. And this was it. This was the first real-world application of what we now call blockchain technology. And boy, what a journey it was. The white paper just drops in 2008, the network goes live in 2009, and by 2017, Bitcoin's price just explodes, making it this massive global phenomenon. Every single step built on the last, proving that this new kind of digital money wasn't just possible, it was powerful.
So here's the absolute core breakthrough. Bitcoin solved the big puzzle of digital money. Before Bitcoin, if you had a digital file that represented, say, $1, what was stopping you from just, copying it and spending it twice? The only answer we had was a bank keeping a central ledger. Bitcoin was the first to prevent this double spending problem without needing a bank.
So how did it do it? The secret sauce is something called proof of work. To add a new block of transactions to the chain, computers on the network have to compete to solve a really difficult puzzle. Solving it takes an immense amount of computational power and electricity. That energy cost is the key. It makes validating real transactions expensive, which in turn makes faking them prohibitively expensive. That's what secures the whole network.
And early visionaries like Mark Andreessen saw the potential almost immediately. As he put it, this wasn't just about a new type of money. For the first time ever, one person on the internet could send a unique piece of digital property to another. That had never been done before. It was a fundamentally new way to handle value online, and the consequences, well, we're still seeing them unfold.
So Bitcoin was that first critical rung on the ladder, but the innovation didn't stop there. Developers pretty quickly realized that the technology behind Bitcoin could be used for so much more than just a peer-to-peer cash system.
This comparison really gets to the heart of the whole shift. The internet was basically built on this private diary model, right? Where data is controlled by one entity and can be easily changed. Blockchain introduced a shared notebook model, where the entries are permanent and visible to everyone. This wasn't just an upgrade, it was a completely new way for digital information to work.
And this was the next great leap. A whole new generation of developers started asking, okay, what if we could run code on this shared database? And that question led to smart contracts, basically self-executing agreements. And that single idea transformed the blockchain from a simple ledger into a decentralized world computer.
So, once you have a programmable blockchain, developers suddenly have this brand new, powerful set of tools. And they started building applications that literally could not have existed before, creating whole new digital frontiers from scratch.
First up was DeFi, or decentralized finance. And this is a really bold attempt to rebuild the entire financial system. Lending, borrowing, trading, you name it, directly on the blockchain, completely cutting out the traditional middlemen. It's finance, but totally peer-to-peer. Then came NFTs. Early projects, you might remember them, like CryptoPunks and CryptoKitties, they proved that you could have verifiable ownership of a unique digital item. That was something that was just impossible before. Suddenly, digital art, music, even items in a video game could be owned and traded just like physical objects, creating entirely new markets out of thin air.
And that brings us to the final rung on our ladder, for now, at least. And in this really fascinating plot twist, this once fringe technology born from these anti-establishment ideals has now captured the full attention of the world's most powerful financial institutions.
86%. Get this, according to the Bank for International Settlements, that is the percentage of the world's central banks that are now actively researching or even developing their own digital currencies. I mean, that is a massive institutional shift.
These are known as central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, and the difference here is absolutely crucial. Unlike the decentralized Bitcoin, a CBDC is a digital dollar or a digital euro that's issued and controlled by a central bank. It's using the same technological toolkit, but with a completely opposite philosophy.
And this is all happening incredibly fast. What you're looking at here is basically a global race. It's gone from early research reports to active pilot programs and even live currencies like in the Bahamas. Governments everywhere are scrambling to figure out their role in this new digital world.
So, let's just quickly recap that journey. We went from a fringe idea for peer-to-peer cash to a global computer, which then became a tool being adopted by the very institutions it was originally designed to bypass. It's a truly incredible full-circle evolution.
And that really brings us to today, because this evolution is far from over. The technology is advancing at an absolutely breakneck pace, and it leaves us with one final question. This ladder of innovation just keeps getting taller. So what's the next rung? Thanks for joining this explainer.